Welcome to day 4 of why I have struggled financially no matter how much money I was making, whether I was poor and broke with zero money or was making $45,000 a month. Doesn't matter. I always found a way to end up broke at the end of the month. So today, after church, I was talking to my husband about how I've always felt like an outsider, right? I've always felt like looking from the outside in on somebody else's life, somebody else's experiences, and I just kind of got to observe it all. I just kind of got to stand by and watch them live their life. And by the way, this video is going to be super short. And it made me realize that, when you convince yourself that you are just a bystander, right? That you are just a fly on the wall, that you are just a wallflower, that you don't necessarily get to participate in life, that you actually just observe life. You don't have this innate desire to grow, to get better, to do something better for yourself, to improve your life, because you don't get to really participate. I hope that makes sense. So that was number one. Number two, as we were there in church, I didn't really know the songs, so I was reading from the pamphlet, of course, and I realized that a long time ago, this is just a little story time here, a long time ago, I remember being part of the chorus and in my school, in my elementary school. And during that time, I remember not liking my voice, and I was just kind of opening my mouth to the songs, and nothing really came out. So again, not really participating, right? Not really contributing, just kind of like standing by and playing some sort of role. And then I got kicked out of course, and I decided that, I got kicked out unjustly, right? They should have never kicked me out. And it must have been because they didn't like me. But the reality is that I didn't like my voice. I didn't like anything that was coming out of me. And this came from a memory when I remember being in my front yard and being surrounded by my friends and my brother's friends. And I was entertaining everybody, and I was singing and I was dancing and I was having a good time, and everybody liked me. And I was connected, right? Remember how in the previous days I was telling you how I really had this innate desire to belong, to be part of a community, and I felt like I mattered. And right there, during that time, my brother hit me, and then he pulled me into the house and started beating me up, and it was so devastating and embarrassing. And I remember from that day forward, I just became this wallflower. I walked with shame. I didn't want anybody to notice me, so I just didn't really make any waves. And just like the last few days that I was sharing with you, we all have these impactful moments that create our identity, that tell us what we should believe about ourselves. And this isn't one moment, one bad event will not really create lifelong suffering, but repeated events that one after another add a layer after layer after layer into your subconsciousness that say, you know what, this is just who you are. You don't belong. You don't get to stand out. You don't get to be the entertaining one. You don't get to be the funny one. You don't get to be the beautiful one. You don't get to be the successful one, right? It's just when you have one after another event like that happen, you convince yourself that, hey, this must be the truth. They can't all be wrong, right? It must be me. And unfortunately, that happens early in childhood, where you don't really even know who you are, but then you decide that this is who you are. So then fast forward after that, I decided to just basically fake everything. I faked smiles. I faked I faked whatever I could to assimilate myself into an environment. As a refugee, I became whatever that community at the time needed me to be, so that I could belong, so I could fit in, so that I could slide in without making any waves, without standing out. So I told my husband as we pulled into the garage this morning, I said, you know what? I'm done faking. I'm done being something that I'm not. And this is it. This is the wife that you get. This is the mother that our daughter gets. This is the woman, the community member that our community gets. This is who my clients get, our clients in our business. This is it. This is who I am. No more faking. I am done faking. And let me tell you something. In a world full of AI and filters and influencers, I think it's time that we all stop faking. So I encourage you to dig deeper and find out where you are faking, where you may not be yourself, where you may be doing something that really isn't you, is in alignment with you. Because let me tell you, God made you perfect, whether you believe in God or not. So universe, whatever you believe in, I believe in God. God, I'm going to use my words here. I certainly don't try to push those on you, but I'm going to tell you, God made you perfect. He made you in His image. And if you try to be anybody else, you are putting other people ahead of God. You are making Him wrong. And I don't think we can succeed when we make God wrong for creating us the way that we are. So that is my words of wisdom on this day, day 4. This is Sunday, so I wish you a wonderful and successful week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.